completed that or not? Do tell me.
Yes, sir.
All right. So we will continue from where we left. Yes.
So, sir, can I try sending the assignments
Yeah,
after
sure,
the class?
sure. Yeah, sure, sure. Okay. Like you guys upload it on the website, right? If the date is over or there, you can send it directly on the WhatsApp number as well.
So,
All right, guys.
actually, my website isn't working.
Okay, okay. No issue. Just send it on the WhatsApp. And I'm with you as well. Okay.
Okay, sir.
Yeah, you guys be consistent in submitting your assignment. All right. I have been saying this since day one that you guys need to be consistent. Okay. So before the exam, you were also consistent, but due to exam, but now you need to be consistent.
Yes, sir.
Okay, so we were talking about combustion, right, guys?
Yes.
And so we were basically talking about flame, and we know what is flame. It is simply the what? The visible and gaseous part of the fire, right, guys?
Yes, sir.
So
Yes.
flame is the visible and gaseous part of the fire. Okay. Yeah. Is there any background noise coming, by the way?
Yes, sir.
No.
Okay. To you, Ahmed, it's coming.
Yes, sir. Some, yeah, just mumbling, sir.
Yes, I hope it's better now.
Okay, it is.
Anyways, so we know that flame is given only by those fuels which converts to vapor on combustion, right, guys? So it
Yes,
will
sir.
be either solid or it will be liquid. Okay, so we have some exceptions. What were those exceptions? You guys tell me which fuel will not give flame on burning?
So, coal and charcoal.
Coal and charcoal. Exactly, guys. These are exceptions which will not give vapor, hence they will not give flame. Okay. Now, I told you guys the color of the candle. Okay, the major color seen in a candle, it is yellow,
Yes,
right,
sir.
guys?
Yes.
So why that yellow color is coming from the candle? We will first need to discuss the different zones of a candle flame. Then it will get clear. Although I told you guys that this is your candle that is simply made up of wax, and this is your wick. Okay. So this wick is burning. Due to that heat, this wax is melting. Okay. And then getting converted into vapor state. Right, guys? So it is the vapor that burns here, not the wax. You will say it's the vapor of the wax that is burning, which gives off flame. Okay. So the majority of the color of the flame, you will say it is of yellow color. The outer region, you guys will observe it is of blue color. Okay, and the middle region, it is of black color. But the question is that why it appears yellow? I told you guys that it is due to the unburned carbon particles. What did I say? It is due to the unburned carbon particles. Okay, like in any case, when you have got combustion, not 100% of the fuel burns. There is going to be some unburned carbon particles in it, right, guys? So to have a better understanding, let's talk
Yes.
about the different zones of a candle flame. See here, this is structure of a candle flame here. This one here. See, if you guys see a candle, okay, you guys will observe that the outermost zone here, you guys will see it appears blue color. It is of blue color. Then the zone after the blue color, it is of yellow color. That is the middle zone. And the innermost zone here, this one, it is of black color, right, guys?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so let's study all of them, each of the zones in detail here. Okay, so see this outermost zone, that is also called the non-luminous zone, because the light of the candle flame that is coming, the majority of the light is coming from the middle zone, this yellow zone, right, guys? So let's say if you guys see the outermost zone, it does not give too much light. It is of blue color, right guys? But the middle zone, it is the luminous zone. It is because of the middle zone of the candle flame due to which we get light. All right. So the outermost zone is non-luminous zone, and it is also the hottest zone. Yes,
Yes.
you guys. I think there's some background noise in either Ahmed or Arhan. Some beep beep noise coming.
Sir, I'm mute.
All right. So see, a candle flame will basically consist of three zones. Okay. So first one is the middle zone. Sorry, outermost zone. Outermost zone. Then you have got middle zone. Okay, middle zone. Then you have got the innermost zone. Innermost zone. All right.
Yes, sir.
Okay. So let's study about the outermost zone first. Okay. So the outermost zone, it is of blue color and it is a non-luminous zone. Why non-luminous? Because it does not produces much light, right guys? And it is also the zone where complete combustion of the vapor takes place, or let's say fuel takes place. Okay. So see here, the vapors around vapors coming out of this wax starts to rise due to heat. Let's say these are the vapors. All right guys. And when they reaches the outermost zone, it is since the hottest zone, so all the particles of the vapor will burn, right guys? Since it is the hottest zone. Okay.
Yes.
So first thing is that it is the non-luminous zone. Let me change the color. It is non-luminous because it does not give off too much light. Second thing about is that complete combustion takes place here of fuel. Complete combustion of fuel. By complete combustion, I don't mean 100%. It would be close to 100%, 98, 95, 99%, right guys? Okay. And
Yes.
third thing about the outermost zone, that is the blue zone or the non-luminous zone, it is hottest, meaning its temperature will be highest. Temperature is high. All right, guys. Okay, now let's come to the next zone.
Yes, sir.
You see if we have space here. So let's talk about the middle zone here. I'm writing here. Okay, you guys need to arrange it in your copy. Okay, write these in a systematic zone. So second is the middle zone. Now, what you guys can observe from here? This middle zone, as compared to the outermost zone, it is that zone which gives off maximum light. Hence, it is also called as luminous zone. It is also
Yes.
called as luminous zone. Okay. Second thing about is that it is yellow in color. Yellow in color. Now, do you guys recall why it will be yellow in color?
Sir,
Because there is
since the
partial, yeah,
unburned carbon gets burnt.
exactly. The carbon does not burns completely. There are unburned carbon particles, or it's better to say that there is partial combustion of fuel taking place here. Fuel is not completely burning, but partially burning. Okay. So we see that partial burning of fuel takes place in this region. All right. Now, why partial burning of fuel is taking place in this region? See here, if you guys see the position of this middle zone of candle flame, you will say that it is lying in a middle area, and it is not having access to sufficient air as compared to the blue zone, which is the outermost zone. It is having access to maximum oxygen, right, guys? While the yellow
Yes.
zone, or while the middle zone is lying inside of this blue zone, so it does not have access to much oxygen. So it does not burn completely due to lack of oxygen or lack of air. Okay, so you will say insufficient insufficient availability of air. There is insufficient of availability here. That's why partial combustion takes place here, right, guys? So these were the
Yes.
points about middle zone. Okay, that's why it appears yellow in color. Now see the innermost zone here. That is also called as dark zone, that appears as black here. All right. So it is the least hot zone. It is the least hot zone. It is black in color, and it contains maximum amount of unburned carbon particles. So that's why its color will appear black instead of yellow. Okay, got this. This is the
Yes.
innermost zone of a flame, which consists of hot, unburned wax vapors and carbon particles. Okay, so talking about this one, you guys will arrange this, right? I don't have sufficient space here, so that's why I'm writing in this way. So innermost zone. First thing about is that it is a dark zone. Second thing about is that why is it dark? Because incomplete combustion of wax vapors and carbon particles takes place here. They do not burn completely here, right, guys? So it is due to unburned wax vapors and carbon particles. So there are unburned wax vapors and carbon particles in this region. That's why it appears as black. Okay. And third thing is about is it is the coldest zone of the flame. Okay. Out of all three, it is the coldest zone. Okay. Cold, it doesn't mean it is 5 degrees Celsius, 0 degrees Celsius. If you bring your hand close to this zone also, you will burn yourself. You will get injured. But out of all these three, this is the coldest zone. All right. Hope the structure is
Yes.
clear to you guys. Okay. Now, here's an interesting activity I'd like you guys to understand. See the next slide. See this one. Yeah. What we are basically doing here? We are basically trying to show here that partial combustion of fuel is taking place in the middle zone here. So what we have done here, we have lighted a candle. We took a glass tube. We are holding it a pair of tongs. This is called tong, and insert this
Yes.
tube in dark zone of the candle flame. In the dark zone. No, actually, we are not talking about the innermost zone, not the middle zone. All right, guys. We are talking about
Sir, the
innermost
black
zone.
part.
Yeah, exactly. Black part.
Okay.
Innermost zone, dark zone. All right. So what we are doing here, bring a burning matchstick near another end of the tube. So we know that the innermost zone consists of unburned wax vapors, right, guys?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So so you see those unburned gas particles are going to flow into this tube. Ahmed, are you getting this thing or not? Yes, Ahmed. So you see, guys, this unburned wax vapors are flowing via this glass tube. Okay. Now see what you are doing here. You are bringing a burnt matchstick to the another end of this glass tube, and the gas coming out of it will catch fire. It has caught fire here. See, it has caught fire here. right, guys? The matchstick is already on fire,
Yes, sir.
but when you brought this matchstick close to the mouth of this glass tube, the gas coming out of it caught fire because it was wax vapor coming out of it,
Yes, paper.
right, guys?
Yes, sir.
See the
Yes,
previous
sir.
see the previous slide. There are unburnt wax vapors coming out of the innermost zone. So we know it is basically the wax vapor that burns. So wax vapor that is coming out of this glass tube, it will also burn. Okay, so that was an activity to
So
basically
since
show. Yeah.
so since the matchstick is already burned, how will it burn again?
No, the matchstick is already burning. Okay. Look, the gas, the from this end now. See, from this end, gas particles, unburned gas, unburned wax vapors are coming out of it. All right. So unburned wax vapors are coming out of it. Now I brought a burnt matchsticks near to it. So when I brought a burnt matchstick near to it, these wax vapors coming out of it caught fire. Same thing happens in a candle, right? You are burning a candle, wax converts into vapor, wax converts into vapor, and they caught fire when you light it, right, guys? So same thing is happening here as well. Did you guys got this one or not? It's pretty simple.
Yes,
Ahmed, you? Is Ahmed is
Yes,
here or not?
yes,
Yeah.
sir. I am okay.
Okay. So do explain it to me. What just happened in this activity?
Sir, explain.
No, explain it to me.
Okay, sir. So we have to take a glass tube. mm, So do I have to read the same thing? Or do
No,
I have
don't
to
read the same thing. Just explain it to me in few lines.
sir.
Just Arhan, you explain.
By placing the glass tube near the dark zone, the unburned unburned carbon travels
Unburned wax
through
vapors.
the
Unburned wax vapors. Ahmed, Arhan, and unburned wax vapors.
yes, sir. Unburned wax vapor travel through the glass tube and it lights up.
When it lights up when we brought a matchstick near to it. When we brought a burnt matchstick near to it. All right.
Yes.
Okay. So what did we concluded from this? Ahmed, you tell me what did we come to concluded from it?
sir, the wax vapor?
Wax. There are unburned wax vapors in the innermost zone. So conclusion here is that there are unburned wax vapors in the innermost zone. Now you guys will be able to explain it to anyone that it why it appears black and what is coming out of the zone. In the same manner, we can perform another activity as well. In the same manner, we can perform one more activity here. Just let me add one more sheet here. Yes. So that was the activity to prove that the innermost zone consists of unburned wax vapors. In the same manner, we know that the middle zone consists of unburned carbon particles. We can prove that one also. Okay. So activity 2, what we can do to prove that middle zone consists of what?
Wax.
Unburned carbon particles. Okay, unburned carbon particles. Although there are some amount of unburned wax strippers also, but majorly it consists of unburned carbon particles. All right. So what you guys will take now? Do now. You guys will need to take a candle here. Okay. You guys will light it. Let's say this is its thread. Okay. Light this candle. All right. All right. Light this one and bring a cardboard. Place a cardboard over it, or just take a glass plate over it. You have placed a glass plate over it. All right, guys. And
Yes, sir.
this is the middle zone of the candle flame. That is the outer zone. Okay. And here it is the inner zone. Okay, we are trying to basically conclude here that the middle zone consists of unburned carbon particles. So what you guys will do, you guys will hold a glass plate over this candle flame with the help of a pair of tongs. All right, and bring it close to the middle zone. Don't keep it too above, and don't lower it too much down, so that the candle blows off. Okay, so you need to just bring it close to the middle zone. Okay, so after some times you will observe that a blackish spot appears in this region. Blackish spot appears over this region. So what does this conclude here? That the middle zone consists of unburned carbon particles. Okay, so did you guys had used kerosene lamps 10-15 years ago? People used to use kerosene lamps. Nowadays also in villages people use kerosene lamps. Or if you guys ever did this activity just by placing a piece of paper over the candle at a proper distance, you guys will observe that a blackish layer forms over it. So that basically concludes that the middle zone consists of carbon particles. Hope you guys got this one.
Yes, sir.
Okay, now there's one more activity I would like to tell you guys that if you remember, which you guys first tell me which zone is the hottest, inner, middle, or outer?
Sir, outer. Sir, middle.
No. The zone where the complete combustion of fuel will take place, obviously that is going to be the hottest one. Okay.
Yes, sir. So it's the outer.
Hmm. So what you guys are going to do here, we are basically going to perform activity to show that the outermost zone of a candle flame is the hottest. Ahmed, you getting these things or
Yes,
not? Yeah. To show that the outermost zone of a candle flame is hottest. So now we are going to take a candle here as well. Okay. Now light this candle. There are going to be 3 zones. Okay, the outermost will be blue in color, right, guys? So what you guys will see here, we will basically take a copper wire here. You will take a copper wire and bring it close to the outermost zone of a burning candle. Okay. So you can hold it using a pair of tongs. So you are holding, just let's say this is a tong. Okay, you are holding this copper wire using a tong here. What is it? A copper wire. Okay, all right. So you have brought it close to the outermost zone. Okay, and what you will observe here that the part of copper wire which is in the outermost zone will burn, will become red hot, right, guys? So if you guys were to take another pair of copper wire and now you place it, now you bring it in very close to the innermost zone, or you to the middle zone, or if you were to bring it close to the, let's say this is the, let's do one more in it, you bring it close to the innermost zone. So out of all the three copper wire, let's say this is copper wire 1, this is copper wire 2, and copper wire 3. Okay, now out of all the three copper wires, which copper wires ends is going to become most red? You will observe that
Sir,
the
one.
one you have placed in the outermost zone will become red hot. All right, guys. So that basically
Yes.
concludes that the non-luminous part or the outermost zone of the candle is hottest, since complete combustion of fuel takes place in that region. So conclusion, outermost zone is hottest, right, Ahmed? Okay. Yes. No, you see, have we left something? No. Okay then. No, you see, you guys already obviously know that if you guys burn anything, no much how good it is, how natural it is going to lead to some amount of pollution. Could be 0.1%, no matter how clean the fuel is, or it might have or fuels like coal and petroleum and burning of plastics and other fuels have disastrous impact on the environment, right? So how does it causes an impact on our environment? By releasing harmful gases into our atmosphere that acts as pollutants and pollutes the air. Okay, so burning of the fossil fuels releases, sorry, fossil, not especially fossil fuels, burning of basically any fuel like you have got wood, coal, or petroleum. These will release unburned carbon particles in the air, right, guys? So as I said, in no situation 100% of fuel burns. There's going to be some amount of unburned carbon particles released in the atmosphere. Okay, so these fine carbon particles mixes into our air, and when we inhale them, they can lead to respiratory diseases like asthma. Right, guys?
Yes.
So it can cause respiratory disease in humans, for example, asthma. Okay. Now, another impact of burning of fuel is, you see, if incomplete combustion of fuel takes place due to insufficient availability of air, then there is a release of a harmful gas. What do we call that? A very poisonous gas is released.
Sir,
If the
carbon monoxide.
carbon monoxide, very good. So that is carbon monoxide. In its chemical formula is CO. Okay, when you guys will get in class 9, you guys will have to study about chemical formula of different compounds. So try to get familiar with few of them, like carbon monoxide is CO, oxygen O2, water, H2O, carbon dioxide CO2, methane CH4, ozone O3, and like this you guys will get to know so many. Okay. So I was talking about carbon monoxide. So that is a very poisonous gas. Okay. So that's why it is recommended to never sleep in a room by closing the doors and windows where a coal or firewood is burning. Okay, because in that case, the fuel, the coal or wood will burn will burn in insufficient amount of air and will lead to release of carbon monoxide, and the person may die also. Right. Apart from carbon monoxide, it releases CO2 also. Okay. Burning of fossil fuels releases carbon dioxide also in the environment, and they are known to increase the overall temperature of the earth, which causes global warming. So the basic cause of global warming is CO2, which is also called as greenhouse gas, right, guys?
Yes.
Okay, so CO2 now, it basically what it does, it traps heat. The heat coming out of the various industries, from our homes, from air conditioners, and from various electrical appliances, the heat being released from it is basically trapped by this carbon dioxide molecule, and it does not let it escape into the outer atmosphere. That's why the polar glaciers are melting nowadays. Okay, and what will happen if the polar glaciers meet? Yes, you guys tell me. What will happen if the glaciers present in the polar region will melt?
So the water level will rise,
Yeah, and the low-lying
and the
coastal
land
areas.
will get
Yes,
overflown by the water.
exactly. The low-lying lands will get flooded. The lands which are at lower elevation, they will get flooded. Right, so they will lead. It will lead to loss of life and property. Okay, all right then. Okay, now if you talk about petrol, to be specific about petrol and diesel, if you burn these gases, apart from carbon dioxide and other gases, they will release nitrogen oxides into air. Nitrogen oxides. So what this nitrogen oxides does, when there is an, you guys have heard of acid rain?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. So what happens in case of acid rain, when there is precipitation, when there is a rainfall, the water coming out of the clouds, they will react with nitrogen oxide present in the air, and it will convert into acid. These are, let's say, nitric oxides. These are nitric oxides. So the water will react with with these nitric oxides and convert into acid called nitric acid. Okay. So apart from nitric oxides, there are some fuels which releases sulfur dioxide also. Okay, sulfur dioxide. So if you burn petrol and diesel as well, in fact, you if you burn coal as well, burning of petrol, diesel, and coal will release two types of oxides in atmosphere. One is nitrogen oxide, another one is sulfur dioxide. So nitrogen oxide and sulfur dioxide, what will happen? They are present in the air now. So when there is rainfall, these oxides will react with water and it will convert into acid. So it will, what are the effects of acid rain going to be? It will harm the, crops, right guys? The crops of the farmers will be burnt, will be damaged. The various buildings, they will be also damaged. Peoples will also get damaged. Their skins are going to be infected, corroded. Hope that's clear. Yes.
Yes, sir. That's clear.
Okay, okay. So due to all these reasons, now we need to environment friendly sources of fuels of energy. So more and more solar power plants are being planted, right guys? And other means are also adopted. For example, biogas plants are being set up. Okay. So for example, you have got CNG. Okay, which is most of the cars being manufactured nowadays, uh, they were basically running on petrol and diesel. Now it is being replaced with CNG. Why is CNG? Because CNG releases a very small amount of harmful products in the environment. Okay, all right. So we talked about
Yes.
unburned carbon particles, right, guys? Okay, so these particles are dangerous pollutants causing respiratory disease such as asthma. We talked about CO emission also. Okay, so many in newses, you guys might have heard that the person sleeping in the room when it was found out in the morning that he was dead. Okay, like there was no sign of injury marks on his body, yet the person is dead. So when the postmortem result came, it was found out that his lungs were infected by carbon monoxide. His blood was infected by carbon monoxide. Why? Because the person slept in a room in which there was poor ventilation, and there was a firewood burning there. Coal was burning there in insufficient amount of air. Okay. So global warming, we talked about this one. Okay, Ahmed, read this one.
Okay. The rise in the average temperature of the Earth's atmosphere due to the release of carbon dioxide in on the combustion of fuels is termed global warming. Melting of polar ice caps or change in the rainfall pattern are consequences of global warming.
Right. These are the consequences of global warming. Now, the thing is, what are the indicators of a warming world? The temperature is rising. We get to know about it from newses, and we ourselves experience it as well. But looking from our surroundings, there are some indicators that indicates you that the world's temperature, global temperature, is rising. For example, if there is more if there is more humidity around you, it means there is there is more temperature. The climate is hot, so the water is evaporating more and more from the water bodies and from the vegetation. Hence there will be more availability of water particles in the atmosphere. So if the humidity increases, that's also an indicator. If air temperature near surface, troposphere, it rises. If the air temperature, basically the temperature, it rises, that is also an indicator that the world is getting warmer and warmer. If the glaciers melt, if the temperature is increasing, obviously the glaciers are going to melt, the snow cover is going to recede, temperature over land is going to increase. Right, guys?
And
See, yeah,
since CO2 traps heat, it is also a reason why the world is getting warmer.
exactly. The main reasons are greenhouse gases. Greenhouse gases. They are the main reasons for global warming. So glaciers are melting. So what will happen about the sea level? It will increase. Notice the signs here. The arrow is upward. So the arrow upward denotes increase here. So sea level is going to increase here. Right, guys? Ocean heat content. The heat in the ocean is also going to increase. So due to that, the aquatic life will also be in danger. Right, guys? And there are floating ices on sea as well. So they are also going to melt. You see, there are so many organisms that lives on glaciers, floating ice. Like see, take example of seal. Have you guys seen a seal on Discovery
Yes, sir.
or on or video? Just so seal or walrus.
Yes.
Okay, so there are so many animals that lives on seals, and the survival depends on these glaciers. So if they get melted into water, if they get melted into water, then they will be, obviously they are in endangered category. Their population is reducing day by day, so their lives will also be in danger. Okay, now acid rain, we talked about this one. Okay, so Aran, read this one. Read the first line.
Its acid rains are caused by emissions of sulfur dioxide and nitrogen oxide, which react with water molecules in the atmosphere to produce acid. It has a very harmful effects on plants, and aquatic animals and infrastructure.
Okay, so you see, out of these industries, see in the figure, from the industries and from our homes as well, SO2 and NO2, sulfur dioxide and nitrogen oxides are being released into the atmosphere. Notice their formulas. Sulfur dioxide is SO2, nitrogen oxide is NO, NO2. nitrogen oxide here. So they are being released into the atmosphere. Now what happens if there's precipitation? Let's say water is coming down. These are water particles and these are SO2 and NO2 particles. So they will combine, the water will combine with these gases and it will form into sulfuric acid. It will form into SlPHURIC. Sulfuric acid plus nitric acid. These are two types of acid. Remember guys, these are two acids. What are they?
Sulfuric and nitric.
Sulfuric and nitric acids. And these are these are responsible for harmful effects on buildings, on plants, basically the crops we are talking about, aquatic animals and various infrastructures as well. All right.
Yes.
Now if you guys if you guys ever visited Taj Mahal, okay, so you will see the marble is turning yellow. Why? Because nearby Taj Mahal there is so many industries. Okay, so industries basically they releases these harmful gases into the atmosphere. So the atmosphere near the Taj Mahal is very is infected, is polluted by these gases. So whenever there will be a rain, it will be a acid rain, right? So it damages infrastructure as well, right guys? Okay, then that's it about the chapter. You guys do tell me if you guys have
Yes.
any confusion so far in the chapter. Yes.
No.
Okay, very good. So, three questions to you. Which is the hottest zone?
Hottest
Which is
zone.
So the
write your answers in the chat box. Coldest zone, and do tell me where there is unburned CO2 particles found. First, second, and third. Quickly answer this one. There was one thing left in the chapter. You guys need to know about one more thing, that how to calculate calorific value. Okay, we will get to that. First answer this one. Okay, so answer this one. I will be back in a minute. All right.
Sir, the hottest zone of which area?
Hottest zone, coldest zone, and unburned zone. Okay, let me tell you. Shall I tell you guys, or
sir,
you
I've
right?
answered that question.
I haven't received it, by the way. You have answered
Sir, like which hottest zone of a candle or
of a candle flame. Obviously, we're talking about a candle flame.
okay, sir.
Sir,
Yeah.
in which account do I answer? Do I message?
Okay, okay. So you need to know message to MD to me, to the co-host. You can see my name here. Is my name coming there?
Yes, it is.
Yeah, yeah. To me.
Sir, your full name or
To my
just
to my
name?
no to my full name.
Okay, sir, I send it.
Sir, I also sent the first one.
Okay, okay. So so I have received here. All right, all right. Okay, okay. Just let me check it here. Coldest zoned and unburned particles are found in the deepest zone or the black zone. Yeah, good, Arhan. Or you could have just told it. You need to say that it is the innermost zone. Okay.
Inner black.
Yeah. Ahmad, the first one you have told it to be outer zone.
So I'm writing the second one.
Okay. Okay. Inner black zone.
There's the third one I don't know.
Third one you don't know. Look, just let me revise it for you guys once more. Look. Yes. See this candle flame here. Now you guys can recall it. See.
Oh.
The outermost zone is the non-luminous zone. Here, complete combustion of fuel takes place. Hence, it is the hottest zone. In the middle zone, partial combustion of fuel takes place here, and unburned carbon particles are found here. So, it is the middle zone. And another question was the coldest zone. So, it was the innermost zone where there is presence of unburned carbon particles and unburned wax vapors as well. So it is cold. All right. Now one more thing was left to discuss. Just let me.
Excuse me, sir. Did you receive the answer to my third?
Okay, just let me check it. Inner black zone. Yes, that is correct. No. No. We talked about calorific value, right? Okay. So I've got a sample
Yes.
problem related to calorific value. Okay. Like the question here is that in an experiment, 4.5 kilogram of a fuel was completely burnt. First, you guys tell me what is the definition of calorific value?
The kilo.
No, definition. That is the unit. In fact, the unit you told us that is wrong. It's kilojoule per kilogram. Yes, what is the unit? Norush, do you wait for 5 minutes? Okay, and then join.
Yes, sir.
No. Yes, Ahmed.
Yes, sir.
Look,
Sir, the
calorific
calorific
value.
value defines the how much fuel does it require to burn it.
No, that is not close to definition, Arhan. You guys are revising concepts or not? Look here. What does it say is the amount of heat energy produced from the complete combustion of 1 kilogram of a fuel. That is simply called as calorific value. All right. Okay. So if you burn 1 kg of fuel, the amount of heat produced, that will simply be the calorific value. Okay. So 1 kilogram per joule. 1 kilojoule per kilogram. 1 kilojoule per kilogram. Right, guys? So that is the calorific value, meaning that the amount of this kilojoule is what basically it's the unit of heat. So amount of heat I'm getting on burning 1 kg of fuel, that is simply called as calorific value. Now see here, the experiment says that 4.5 kilogram of fuel was completely burned. Okay, and the heat produced was that it was how much? 1,80,000 kilojoule. Right, guys? But we know that calorific value is always calculated for 1 kilogram of fuel. All right, guys. So here it is 4.5 kilogram. So to calculate calorific value, what you guys will simply do, you will find it to be like this. If 4.5 kilogram consists of this, gives of this much of heat, then 1 kilogram will give how much? You will simply divide it. Right, guys?
Yes, sir.
Aran, did you got this one?
Yes, sir, I got it.
Yeah, we just do it like just it's based on maths. Like the cost of 15 pen is, let's say, 100 rupees. Then what is the cost of one pen? So it is going to be simply 100 upon 15. So same in the same manner, you guys can calculate it, and you will get it to be 40,000 kilojoule per kilogram. All right. Okay. So look at the exercise. These are your questions given in your NCERT textbook, and you guys have to complete them and submit before next class, before next science class. All right.
So we have to screenshot of it, sir.
Yeah.
We have to take a screenshot of it.
Yeah. If you like, you can take, or it is given in your NCERT book as well. Okay. So question number 11, in that one, you have to calculate the calorific value. Now it's simple. You guys know how to calculate it.
Yes.
All right. Okay then, guys. That's it for today. We will meet in next class then. Allah Hafiz, guys.
Excuse me, sir.
Yes, Aran?
Will there be a holiday on Bakra Eid, or it will be a class?
No, it will be holiday for sure. It will be holiday.
On which day,
Okay.
sir?
On the day of Eid,